Hi everyone and hi Sandeep. Let me just introduce myself. So I'm Arjav. I work as a senior technical product manager at 91 Springboard. Prior to working with 91 Springboard, I've worked with organizations like Metal, DirectEye, Vahan, Sopra Steria Group, etc. Mostly as a product manager. Over this time, I've basically worked on high impact products like CMG Disha, metal products, basically like the core metal platform, metal APIs. On DirectEye, you might be familiar with Flock, BigRock.com. Many of you might be familiar with that as well. I've worked there as a product manager. And currently, I'm handling one of the tech products at 91 Springboard, which is called the co-working application. So yeah, it's an interesting opportunity to basically interact with you all and basically also specifically with Sandeep to walk over with an interview session, a mock interview session with me. So the way I want to basically structure this mock interview is basically I want to divide it into three parts. One is wherein we'll have the session itself, the mock interview. Then probably for about 20 minutes. Then I can give my feedback on how the interview went for another 20 minutes. And then for another 20 minutes, we can take on whatever questions you guys have. I hope that's all right with everyone. Sandeep, fine with
Yep.
you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Great. Currently, how does your basically day look like at MedLife? Your typical day. How would you describe your typical day at MedLife?
So basically, a lot of the time I spend interacting with stakeholders from the operations, from the customer support and other B2B teams. Um, Most of the time we have the business goals which we discuss and the ways to achieve that. I For the next part, the way we operate, we don't have a set plan for the complete year or anything. For the next quarter, we have some plans, and based on the current business requirements, I work with them to reprioritize them and come up with a broad PRD for these items. And then they are handed over to the product analysts, or they actually act as a product owner, and they work with the tech team in getting it delivered through the sprint.
Okay,
And
and
whenever required, I also jump into the interaction with the developers and facilitate the delivery.
sure. And how do you interact with the engineers in your team? What are basically what that interaction is about? How do you basically go about it, doing it? What are the times at which you interact when you think you need to talk to engineers, etc.?
Okay, so in the event that there could be two instances. One is when they want to interact with me due to some lack of clarity or something. In that case, the ideal flow is that they usually ask the product owner who is in charge of that particular product they're developing, and most of the times, since we have a clarity on the requirements, it doesn't have to reach me, and they clarify it. In case there is any clarity required, or there is any difference of opinion between the engineer who's doing that and the product owner, then sometimes it gets escalated to me, and then in those cases I talk to them. I understand what the problem is, and as applicable, we come to a resolution. Usually it will be about some specific requirement clarification and stuff like that, or sometimes some in very rare occasions when the scope is not clear, or why is not clear. In such cases, when after an interaction it's done, the situations when I usually have to talk to them, I have to initiate is mostly when there is a reprioritization needed mid sprint, or even for the next sprint if there is a gross reprioritization needed. In such cases, I usually call the team for a team meeting and let them know why we are doing this, and again the business impact that'll come out of this particular reprioritization, and why I can assure that their work won't be waste, and we will obviously work on that in the next coming sprint once we deal with the current priorities.
Sure. Okay, so in your present organization, which is that one feature or one product that you're really proud of? And basically, how did you go about building that product or that feature?
Okay. So one thing that I'm really proud of is the revamped version of our mobile website which we built. So the reason for that pride is because we were initially working on a legacy product which which came into MedLife as part of an acquisition, and this was a um, demand from all the customers as well as the business that we need a mobile first
Hello. Sorry,
was
Sandeep,
better
your voice
at
is
serving the
not
customers,
coming out through.
and this was a complete shall I turn off my video? I think there's a bandwidth issue here. Is that's okay with you,
Sure,
or
that's
are you
okay.
able to hear better now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the reason I was telling is that this revamp the mobile website was a requirement both from the customers as well as the business, and both of them were aligned with this thing in the first place when we started the development. And it was a complete ground up project where we went ahead, did a lot of user research. I worked with the UX team to come up with fresh. So it was not a maintenance or a modification on the existing product. It was something where I could start from ground up, come up with the exact screens, all the interactions, showcase it to the business, get their feedback, and the whole product cycle was included in this product, which otherwise was a product which the diagnostics product that we had all were out in the market, but this was something which I could work on from the beginning, and then we were able to deliver that within the committed timeline. So that is why I'm proud of this particular.
Sure. And how did you go about doing the user research part?
I initially, before I started speaking to the customers explicitly, I started listening to a few of the customer support calls where people. So there are times when we get leads from the application and the customer support executive closest to place the order. So such calls, I was just listening to such calls where when I asked some customer support executives also to ask them why they did not make a transaction on the app, and that gave me some insights as to the experience had the problems which were there in the experience. Major problem is that while we knew that the customers were all on mobile website, um, our website was developed for the desktop first, and there was a lot of problems were which were occurring when we were trying to translate the web first into the mobile. So instead, I understood if we have a mobile first thought process in building this, that is something which the customers were also asking for. They were telling why would something be look like this? It does not make sense at all in my mobile view, and such things were being asked by customers. So once we got an idea of this, then I started asking the customer. I took a random set of customers from these people who had this issue and people who were able to explain their problem clearly. I spoke to a few of them to understand what exactly, if changed, will help them transact better on the application. So such insights gave me some idea as to where to start with. Then based on that, I had a discussion with our UX designer, and they also brought some ideas. Then we had some internal testing within our app. So we created some mockups and some very low fidelity mockups, and we circulated that within the company to understand the other employees' input. So people who had no idea about the product and technology, we asked those people to give in their ideas. So that is how we got a lot of requirements, including incorporating all of that. Then I designed some mockups, and then I and the UX designer, we both worked together in creating a prototype.
Sure. The mockups you designed yourself, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the final version, but the one which I could hand off to
Basically the wireframes, right?
No, I wouldn't call
Low
it a
fidelity.
wireframe. I designed it on InVision with a bit of, you could call it a medium fidelity thing, not high, not.
Basically a low fidelity utility prototype, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So once you design that, once it's on InVision, then you said you went around and basically showed it to a few employees and got their feedback on that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have, so basically for this product, what metrics were you actually tracking?
So the the KPI for us was conversion. The initial website, the conversion was very poor from the people who land on the website to people who actually place an order on the website was very poor, if not very negligible. So that is the major thing which we wanted to improve on. And we had we set a benchmark for each stage of the funnel, and we wanted to achieve that. And one thing which was there in our mind, one not the KPI, one goal of the redesign for us was to minimize the number of clicks and steps in the whole flow. The initial one had a lot of redundant steps, and it took a lot of time for the person to start and the whole purpose and the motive. I mean, one of the goals which we were trying to achieve with this redesign was that he should maximum make a 5-click and he should be able to place an order.
Okay. So during your user research, what was the pain point that you were actually solving? As you said, clicks was one of things, and conversion was mostly on the business side. But for an end user or a customer, what was his or her pain point which you wanted to solve?
Okay, so majorly there were two things. One, diagnostics being our major target audience was of preventive healthcare. And when you come to a website which sells preventive healthcare, it's very difficult for you to actually narrow down on a package that suits you, unless you are actually if it's a chronic condition, you know that you need to get a HbA1c tested or that you need a thyroid tested. But in this case, you don't know which is the package that suits you. So that discovery part of it was one problem which is being highlighted by a lot of customers. The other problem was that even if I finally decide on something, it takes me a lot of time to go, and most of the things, there was some scroll which needed to be done in the website to go to the next selection option, which nobody would figure out innately. We knew the product and we were able to do that because we knew it, but then customers were never able to figure out that there is a scroll needed in this particular segment. So those were the interactions and experience pain points that they had, and then they didn't know how to complete the steps. And one was about the discovery of the right product for them.
Right. Sure. And do you have any roadmap that you follow?
So we have a roadmap for the next quarter, which for the 2-3 months coming forward. So,
okay, and how does this fit in that entire set of items in your roadmap?
So this was done some time back. If you are asking me for the current roadmap, it's all reprioritized, and labs is not in the roadmap of the company because of the COVID situation, because people are not really willing to call some diagnostics person to their home in this situation. So the whole business roadmap has changed now. So yeah, the diagnostics part of it is not in the product roadmap. We are working on other auxiliary things. Our team is working on building an e-consultation for the company, some supply chain optimization. So that is what our team is working on. But yeah, labs has been a low priority item for the business.
Sure. So basically, the question that I'm asking is, at that time when you sort of prioritizing this and giving it to the implementation team or your engineering team for this to be built, there would be a number of other items also on your product roadmap. How did you go about prioritizing this above everything else?
Okay. So about that, when I initially joined Midlife, the priority at that moment was that we had to scale our operations to meet the demand. As I said, this product came as part of an acquisition, and it was a small startup which had a very low scale than what Midlife could bring to them without any optimizations. So the operations was not built for that scale. So that was the initial objective when I joined. For maybe first 2 quarters, we were completely focused on scaling the operations, the logistics app, the multiple slots, rostering, everything on the operations front. So once that was done, at that time, the major way that we got all the bookings or the leads were through marketing. And once our operations were stable enough and we were able to run on that, then the business demanded that we need to start generating organic bookings and rely less on the marketing and customer support assisted booking, which the customer support was doing. So the business demanded this, and that was the right time for us to, I mean, though we also knew that the mobile website required a revamp, we were not able to prioritize at that time because the business priorities were different. And about 6 months down the line, that there was a collision of both of the vision, the product vision to have a better product, and the business requirement to bring in more natural organic bookings. So I did not have much trouble prioritizing this because it was a requirement from all sides. But yeah, there used to be a lot of minor improvements which needed to be tackled, which kept coming. But then we were able to strongly prioritize and stay on top of this mobile website revamp because of the business priorities and the impact that this. So the conversion that we could 1% conversion increase because the top of the funnel for our website was a huge one. We had an exposure to the MedLife organic visitors on the pharma application, and all of that was there. So any 1% conversion or increase on our mobile on our labs website would translate into a lot of bookings for us. So that business impact was justifiable enough to keep prioritizing this over anything else.
Okay. Okay. Okay, Sandeep, I think that's all the questions that I have. So let's move on to the feedback part of this interview.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, so so the first thing basically that I basically asked you is, how does your typical day look like, right? Specifically, what I was looking for is mostly during your day what you do. It could be the daily stand-up that you run, the PRDs that you're working on, which you've mentioned. But specifically, I was asking what are the activities that you do in a day? Maybe you were any customer interviews, or maybe meetings with the marketing team or any other team. While broadly, yes, things like working on plans or coming up with PRD is there, but if would have been a more specific answer, like for example, as I said, you must have your daily stand-ups, meetings, customer interviews, etc. Probably mentioning that would have really helped. Secondly, I think the question where I said that how do you interact with engineers? So the interview is actually getting to know whether you're actually comfortable interacting with the engineering team, how your basically rapport is with the engineering and the QA team, because they're definitely a key stakeholder in whatever product that you're building. You mentioned that you get in touch with them whenever they require clarity, but probably you might have also included them in maybe while you're assessing the feasibility of the product. I mean, it's good to mention them, good to mention the interviewer that you've included them there and then as well, got their input, got ideas from there as well on how a particular thing could be implemented. Also, including them in key meetings, such as maybe while you're building up the roadmap, a few key leaders from that team is something that I'm sure you would have already been doing. And not just give them a set of documents for them to build. Basically, also making them a part of the entire decision-making process. Coming to basically the feature or product that you were building, you mentioned that you're working on a revamped version of the mobile app, as you said, is what I could gather, right?
Yeah. Mobile website.
Yeah. Mobile website. Cool. A bit of more description over there. Your choice of product, I think is good because it demonstrates basically your experience on working on both web and mobile, basically understanding the web as well as the mobile aspect. So that's good. But probably being more specific on what the products, be giving more context to the interview on what the products currently do and what we were trying to achieve in this question itself would have been really helpful. Although later you did clarify that you were working on the discovery part and the diagnosis. But mentioning here itself would have really helped the interview as well. Sure. Again, on the user research part, so you mentioned that you basically listen to a few calls on the customer support desk, or maybe seen a few tickets, etc. And I'm sure you might have also analyzed the tickets, maybe tag them through, maybe tag those tickets and then analyze whatever data there are. Based on that, you might have come to the conclusion that this is a big pain point for our customers. This is recurring and most a very frequent thing that our customers and users basically ask of us. Probably mentioning that aspect, uh, quantifying your decision over here is something that would have a really good impact while you're mentioning your user research. Sure, Sandeep? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, when I basically asked you what the pain points were, okay, so you said that the target was basically to improve, uh, 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 basically allow customers to discover whatever packages, health packages there were, and basically improve conversion rate, improve numbers on the diagnostic side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as you mentioned, this product feature was both for, met an business objective as well as an objective where you wanted to improve the user experience, right?
Yeah.
So while you did mention that this was this was like improving diagnostics, the products that you sell on the diagnostic page only was part of the business objective. Improving discovery, how it helped, what that pain point was for the user. Going into more detail of that would have really helped.
Okay.
For example, you could have said that, like for example, customers weren't able to find a particular maybe a health package that they were looking for, which you did mention, but more specifically that quantifying that how many users were facing that problem. Maybe discovery was not just the only issue which led to you building that revamp version. Maybe getting more into the details of what the user actually faced. While I do understand that the business objective is also really important, but I think it was mostly weighted more on the business side. Sure, Sandeep?
Yeah, understood.
Basically, it's just about customer. As an interview, you want to know how empathetic you are towards the customer, and basically you must have put yourself in the customer's or the user's shoes, and what challenges he would face at that time is what you could have mentioned more over here. Then basically what I asked was what metrics you were tracking. So conversion rates from website to mobile, as again you said mentioned, was a business objective, and there was, as you said, both business objectives as well as solving the customer pain point. Those are the two objectives. But specifically, what metric in terms of maybe you wanted to reduce the bounce rate, or maybe you wanted to increase the number of installs. Specifically specifying what that metric is, what the interviewer is usually looking at, just because he wants to know how well you know your number. And once you say, for example,
conversion as the metric which you were trying to do.
Yeah, so conversion, basically, again, there's an entire funnel wherein you can basically measure how that conversion happens, right? There might be, from moving from web to mobile, there might be X number of steps.
Yeah, I during that we had a benchmark for each of the funnel steps that we had to achieve, and we were trying to achieve that while improving the conversion. That's what I think I mentioned.
Sure. Probably giving the exact metrics, like for example, as I mentioned, bounce rate or number of installs, or maybe page views on a particular page visits, etc. That would have really helped.
Okay.
So this was on the business side. Minimizing clicks. That's good, but how did you measure? Okay, so minimizing clicks is something that uh, that's part of basically the revamp, right? But how did that ultimately led to a better user experience, right?
Okay.
Now conversion is one thing. Probably a more engaged user can say that more people were now interacting with our product. Uh, that's how basically you would justify how minimizing clicks actually worked out, right?
Mhm.
So they were easy, and this basically, how did that align with the discovery aspect also? So people were now were able to find whatever health packages they were looking for more easily. Uh, Again, there were less bounce rates, or maybe people not navigating away from the page, etc. That's basically you could have also mentioned on the custom, basically the objective that you were solving for the customer over here,
Okay.
right, Sandeep?
Yep. Got it.
Coming on to the roadmap question. Having a roadmap, and the reason why I asked, or any interview would ask this question, is basically is he wants to know how did you prioritize basically this among other items. If there's a framework that you followed, although you said that uh, you had a business objective, and this thing aligns perfectly well with business objective, and that's good. But might be other things or other features of product that might also align with whatever business objective that the organization is basically aiming at. So how did this solution or this problem to solve gain more importance or more priority over the other? Probably you can mention one of the framework. For example, one framework that I follow is the RISE framework, wherein you take into account reach, impact, confidence, and effort into making that final decision whether this is a problem worth solving or this is a solution worth building, right?
Okay.
And prioritization is really important. Just mentioning how did you not pick the other items in the roadmap and pick this one? Uh, and even for business objective, as you mentioned, why did others did not make that cut? And this finally that revamp version of basically moving from web to mobile. Why did you choose this? You might have estimated that what impact this would have on the business, right?
Yes.
Uh, in terms of maybe additional revenues, an estimated one, or maybe more users getting acquired, and finally improving the revenue, etc. So that's all comes into prioritizing different solutions. Probably mentioning that during this in this question is definitely will have a big impact.
Sure.
Sure, Sandeep.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions right now for me?
No.
Sorry if
So
if I might have missed out some point. That's okay. I mean, like you've corrected me. It's just that the interviewer is also trying to understand what you did, while also trying to basically decide on these questions where what your performance is or evaluate you on these questions. So it's definitely good to be clear or being clear enough on a particular point. If you think that people might get confused or the interviewer might get confused on this part, or maybe I'm not being very clear on this part, right? Sure. And usually such kind of interviews are pretty, they span out maybe 1 hour or so. So there could be other types of questions, like for example, how did you go about doing your user interview? What all questions did you ask, or do you prepare for your user interviews? Whom do you take along with you during those user interviews? It could be your product uh, designer, or maybe somebody from your engineering team, one person, so that the engineering team also feels more involved. in the process.
Mhm.
Or it could be, for example, like you said, you uh, created your own mock-up, but you still had the designers, right?
Yeah.
So, uh, did you share your mock-ups with the engineering team, or how did you take your designers in while preparing those mock-ups? At what stage do you bring in the engineering team or to assess that feasibility risk of the product, whether uh, a particular solution was possible or not? How did you ideate on the different solutions? Of course, you might have worked around a lot of other, explored other options as well during the revamp itself. So, how did you come up with those solutions? How did you brainstorm? I mean, these are some of the questions that you should probably anticipate in an interview, and it, basically this part of the interview where the interviewer is trying to explore your profile
Mhm. Understood.
more. An interview is also a lot more focused on the process that you follow. Again, on the metric side, there's a whole set of different metrics, activation, acquiring new different set of metrics, etc., acquiring new users, etc.
Mhm.
The two things that I really want to point out is for an interviewer, it's a bit of a difficult job as well, as I mentioned, to understand what product you're actually building or working on, or feature you're working on.
Okay.
And then basically, as I said, evaluate you on these core principles of product management. Things like prioritization or maybe product discovery, etc. So a good thing would be to basically give as much context to the interviewer. For example, you've mentioned that your product basically uh, aligned with what the business objective was. Maybe probably clarifying what that business objective really is, or maybe what the product vision or the organization vision is, might also really help.
Okay.
Uh, just for the interviewer to know how well your product feature align with that.
Understood.
Sandeep, you there?
Yeah. Yeah. I said.
Yeah. And basically, there's a few frameworks on how you can actually frame your answers as well. For example, Biggs is one framework wherein you dramatize the situation. You come up with different solutions and finally pick up one. Why did you pick up that particular solution? Probably going through or keeping those frameworks in mind would help you basically better answer questions that the interviewer has for you,
Okay.
right? So the thing that I really liked about your responses was that you knew your product. Uh, uh, Basically, uh, whatever you did, whatever questions that I had, you knew your product in terms of there was no apathy of a kind towards your product. Probably just framing your responses and getting more uh, detailed responses is something that you can work upon,
Okay.
right? I'm sure basically you would have, I'm not sure if you have the matrix right here with you, but you can pull out matrix that how you improve the product, how you made decisions using the data that you had. For example, you mentioned that minimizing clicks is one, but how would you know whether that product uh, basically works for the user or not? It's through maybe analytics, maybe Google Analytics. What all were the key metrics? What are the improvements that you saw on analytics, etc. How did that have an impact on the company's revenue? Just preparing for such kind of questions will make you feel a lot more confident.
Understood.
It's just about going a bit deeper into whatever you've just mentioned. Uh, that will really help. Sandeep.
Thanks, Arjav,
You,
anyway, for the detailed session and the detailed feedback.
yeah.
Yeah, thanks.